Hey guys, Logan here, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. As you can see, I'm in a flat world. That is because we are going to be building something. This is going to be a tutorial on how to build a brick house. Now, usually when people build, they usually start with wood. So no one really messes around using brick that much. So I thought I'd show you guys how to make a brick house, so maybe you could build it in your survival world or even creative. Anyway, these are going to be all of the blocks we're going to be using for our house. There may be one that I may have missed in this category, but that's the rough blocks that we're going to be using for this. Anyway, what we're going to start off with is a layout of the house, so we can figure out how big it's going to be, the rooms, before we start building. Because if you just start building without a layout of your house, it gets really confusing, and sometimes there's a room too big, too small. It gets a little confusing. So what we're going to do is get our brick block, because this is going to be a brick house, and we'll start putting in a placement somewhere around here. I've just finished my layout, so we've got like some little groups going on here. We got the door entrance just around here. As you can see, there are no blocks there. We got a couple of like rooms that we could probably fit in here, two like categories as well. So we got this little box area and this, and we should be able to make some rooms out of that. We don't want it to be completely square, or that just it just looks too normal. It needs to pop. So that's why all the rooms are sort of poking out a little bit. It just makes it feel a little bit more cool. Okay, so the next thing we are going to be doing is just building up the walls. So I think 5, because I don't like having like a 3 block like ceiling. It's just too cramped, so that's how it's gonna go. So it's like we got four blocks to jump around from. Okay, that's gonna be the height of one room. Anyway, that's what we're just gonna be doing. We're just gonna fill this all up to 5 blocks high. So I'll see you guys when I'm done this. Alrighty, we are just about done. Let's just block this off. So we've got a little doorway in there. That's okay. So we've got our box, a brick box with some pokes in it. So what I'm seeing already is it's too plain. There needs to be some sort of depth. We've already got some depth with it poking out and stuff like that, but it needs to just feel, you know, better. Okay, for an example, we need it to be a little bit more 3D. So with wood houses, like practically everyone knows this, but if you don't, I'm just going to show you anyway. They usually have logs outside like that. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it's an example, but to just make it a little bit more 3D looking. So we're going to try and do that with the brick house, but we can't just use the logs because it's a brick house. And there's no real good blocks to do it, and I don't think there needs to. So as the wooden house showed, the logs pointing outways from the wooden house, what we're going to do, and what I found that looks really cool, is we're going to use brick stairs. I've just realized I've already got my inventory. Anyway, with these brick stairs, what you're going to want to do is just, in all of these corners, just place brick stairs like this, like sideways like this, and go to the other side when you place the other one. And you get this cool, like, jagged sort of feel. And it's really good because it just makes it look more like you're placing bricks down, in my opinion. Anyway, what we're going to do is just do that on every other corner. So see you guys when I'm done. Okay, I've just finished placing all of the stairs in all of the corners, and it is looking nice. We've got, it just looks more real. It's not as squared anymore, which is pretty nice for a game that involves a lot of cubes. When looking at this house now, it's looking a lot better with all of these stairs placed in, but it just looks too, like, not lively. It's just brick. As you might have realized, there is a lot of wooden stuff in my inventory. That is because we are actually going to be building it in the house, but not as much as the brick, so the brick stands out. But what we're going to do is the bottom layer. Now, I usually do this with a lot of my houses. For some reason, I don't have a good reason on why, like a good example, but it just always looks better. So I found out that the barrel actually looks really good when it comes to this. If we just remove the bottom layer and just place these barrels in, for some reason, I don't know why, I really like I really like the image it shows. Just with like these like wooden support flooring. I don't really know, but I kind of like it. You don't need to put this in your house. That's why I added it in after I build the whole brick building. Just so it's an option. In my opinion, I quite like it. So that's what I'm going to do, but you do not need to do it in any way. But I'm just going to quickly fill all of this in because it looks nice in my opinion. Okay, we have just finished placing all of these barrels around and it is looking nice. Now you might be realizing that there are actually windows already being placed all around just to make it feel more open. Now I actually was recording this, but for some reason OBS just didn't record it. It was just a still frame. So I'm glad I realized that before it was too late. But so basically what I did was just broke a bunch of open holes all around the house just to make it feel a little bit, you know, more open. And with the back of the house, I actually broke it all the way down to the floor because I want it to have like an open like glass door-ish, like you can just walk out and there's like a garden and whatnot. Up to your imagination, blah blah blah. Anyway, that's basically it. So now we should just probably place in all of the glass. Now the glass we're going to be using just to fill up the windows is just the normal pane glass. Are you serious? Thank you. Anyway, what I was saying was just to place these pane glasses everywhere. Now you can use the other glass, but I quite like using this because it makes it feel more like just 3D. There's more depth towards it. Anyway, I'm just going to do that with all of the windows. So I'll see you when I'm done. Okay, I've just finished placing this window and now I left this one for last because I want to show you how I do it. Now this is going to open up to like a garden or so. Who really knows? But it's the back glass like slided door. You know those like glass doors that slide open. I'm sure you guys know what I mean. Anyway, that's what we're going to do. Just like a sort of a glass door, and it's just gonna open up to the garden like I said before. Anyway, that's how we're gonna leave it like that. You can mess around with it as much as you want, but this is what I'm going to do. Anyway, what we're gonna do next is just look back here, and the house is looking nice, but for some reason these windows are looking a little too empty on the outside. It's just brick window. Okay, so what I'm going to do to make it stand out a little bit more besides just brick and glass, this is where the spruce trapdoors come in because they are amazing. I'm also going to be using the stripped spruce log and the stairs because what I'm about to do just makes it feel a little bit better. So what I'm going to do with these 3 blocks, let me just move these out of the way because we don't need them, is just to place the trapdoors on the side. Now they make a cool like wood pattern. It's nice. Anyway, we're gonna do that with all of the windows because I think it looks pretty nice. Actually, before I do all the windows, I better just do the whole like thing and then just copy on all of them. But what we're gonna do next is actually use the spruced logs here and place them on the corners. And now it's looking a lot nicer. So now we're going to be placing the spruce stairs up here. That just makes it look a lot more like there's more depth towards it. I've said that word so many times, but it's true. That's like barely the only reason we're doing this is just to make it stand more out and make it not as flat. And it just also brings a lot of color and I quite like it. Anyway, now we're going to do that with all of the sides. So I'll see you guys when I'm done this. Okay, I've just finished placing all of the windows and it is looking a lot nicer in my opinion. So the next thing we're going to do before we go into building the insides is actually building the roof. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop it down like that and poke it out a little bit so we get a little bit more 3D into it. And we're just going to do it on the other side, and what you can see is we're just going to be building upways like a normal roof, but we're also going to add these bottom stairs because they make it stand a little bit more better. It's better like that than that. Oh, it's just it's too weird. I can't even describe it properly. So that's why we're going to put some bottom stairs into it. It just makes it look a lot better. Anyway, now that we're at the top, we're going to be using a spruce plank, and that fills up that area. And look, we've already got one bit of the roof done. Okay, now that we're at the top, you've realized we don't even need to place one of those spruce planks, because these rooms are actually different size. Now that is what you need to focus on. If you want the roofs to be the exact same, then you're going to have to extend this whole area by 1. I did it like this just so you can see what both sides are and how you can sort of match them together. And it's just basically that. Okay, now we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. You don't need to look at this because it's an exact copy like this. So it's just the exact same thing but mirrored. Now that I've finished the 2 other bits of the roof, now we're going to focus on the middle of the roof. And that's just basically grabbing these stairs and curling right around. For some reason this isn't working. Okay, there we go. It's worked. And now we're just going to go up onto the second level and do the exact same thing. So it connects all of these parts of the roof. Now this makes a cool shape of a roof and it looks really nice. As you can see, it is looking swoopy. Basically, I'm going to do that with all of the other bits of the roof. So, time lapse. Okay, now that I've finished up the roof, you can see how the roof looks like, and it is looking nice. So I have left this middle bit out just in case if people got confused of what to do here. It's basically just placing planks here to fill up the roof. That's just about it. Okay, now that I've finished up the top of the roof, we are left with these like bits inside of the roof. Now, I left them for the end because that is what we're going to be paying attention to the most. The roof is pretty standard, basic, it's normal. And just before we venture off into that, you might have realized that I actually covered over this. Now, easy way to fix it is just put these down by 1, just put some planks down. Actually, no, we'll use the stripped spruce log and just do that. See, it's looking pretty nice. It's not as we planned it, but that is as good as we can do. Or you could just rise the roof by 1, but that may have some problems with my building design in the front of these, so that is just my way of fixing that. Now to this bit, what we're going to do is just simply just place a bunch of brick up here. And I'm going to do that on all of the sides. Actually, I may skip out on those back ones because it is just a mirrored version of the front bit, so we don't, whatever's on front here is exactly the same on the other side. When walking up to this, you can see the first thing I see is how empty these tops of the roof are. It's just it hurts my eyes. So to fix that, what I've found out of doing is just placing some windows in here. But as you can see, it's a little different on this side because there's no middle point. That's why I wanted to add both this room and this room because they are different sizes and one of them doesn't have a middle in it. To fix this solution, I use brick stairs and simply just place around like this, and it makes a block in the middle. The only problem with this is you can't actually place any blocks in here because it's not in the middle of one. So what we're going to do is just break a hole in the roof. And it's a little annoying. I know you may have to place or do your window a little bit differently, but this is the only solution if we want a middle window in a room size like that. It's a little annoying, but with some decoration, it can look alright. Now with the side, it's a lot easier actually. You just simply place glass like that. Now you may have realized I'm not using the glass pane. It's because of a reason that I'm going to point out in a second. It's still looking a little bit empty, but it is getting there. So what we're going to do is I figured out a cool trick with the brick stairs, and it just makes it look a little better. See, it's popping out a little bit more, the window anyway. Now, why we aren't using glass panes is... Actually, why aren't we using glass panes? Okay, slight realization is we don't actually need to use these glass blocks. We can actually just remove it and place it with these pane glasses. It's your choice. I thought we needed to do this for some reason, but this works a lot better. So the only glass blocks we're going to be using is for this. To make this stand out even more with these windows at the top is by using spruce trapdoors and just placing them like this. So it's sort of like, I don't really know what it is. It's sort of like a open window sort of, I don't know any words for it, but what we can simply do is just put some lanterns on here and it makes it look a lot nicer. Okay, now that we have got our windows at the top looking nice, I'm just going to do the exact same thing on the other side and I'll see you guys after I'm done. Okay, now something that I completely forgot to add with the roof is just simply putting spruce slabs down like this. It just makes it look a little bit better. So it sort of curves down a little bit more, sort of tucks in to the side of the wall. So that's what I'm going to quickly just do now. Okay, now that we've finished and putting all of these bushes in, it looks a lot nicer, and now there's vegetation, so that looks nice. And it's also nighttime because I wanted to show off how good these lanterns look like in the night. It just brings so much like light and it just looks a lot more cozier. Now that we've finished the outside, we can actually finally work on the inside. So that's what we're going to be doing right now. And now we need to work on the inside. Man, that's a lot of bats. Just finished the bat problem. Now there are no bats to distract us. And what we're going to do for the flooring, which is where we're going to start on the inside, is just simply spruce planks. Now, I think this looks pretty nice. Now we're actually going to have two different types of flooring on this first level, and it is the smooth stone because it's kind of a cool kitchen block, as it sort of like reminds you of tiles, and it also matches better with the brick and using quartz or something. Okay, I've just finished the flooring and it is looking nice, matching in with all of these barrels. This little section here for the kitchen that I'm going to be building, it is looking amazing. Before we work on furniture and stuff, we should probably fix the roof. And we have done the roof. Now I've left a bit here, and this is for the staircase. Now that we put in our stairs, it is looking pretty nice. It just goes up here and voila. Now to do the furniture. Now the furniture is completely up to you, but I'm going to do the furniture anyway so you get a good idea of how you could maybe do it if you aren't really the best at figuring out where to put furniture and whatnot. So what I'm going to do is have a workstation with some chests, a kitchen with some barrels and cooking stuff like furnaces and stuff. And I'll show you a cool design on how we can do the kitchen, and an enchantment table, because this can actually fit in an enchantment table. It's a little cramped, but it's alright. And now we've got this other section that we can work on, and what I'm thinking of doing is just a simple lounge. So we can have some carpet, some seats, maybe a painting, some bushes. It will look nice. Anyway, what we're going to work on first is actually the workstation. This is where we're going to put all our workbenches, anvils and stuff, and yeah. Anyway, this is looking alright. Now I think we finished the workstation, so that is good. I think the next thing we're going to work on is the kitchen. Now the kitchen is the fun bit because I've actually planned out how this kitchen could actually look like. So we're going to need a furnace. Where are the other two furnaces? There's like two new ones. The smokers and the blast furnace. Okay, here we go. We'll also be using some barrels because they look like good cabinets and stuff like that. Drawers and whatever you want to call them. Anyway, we're just going to put them up like that. We're going to have two smokers like this. Furnaces just spread out, and the blast furnace section. I think that'll look cool. Now, this is already looking alright, but it needs something. Now, I've planned that out. You may have realized I have a campfire in my inventory. And we're going to be using that really well. We also need some string, and I'll explain why in a second. And we also need the furnaces again. There we go. And also polished andesite. I think it's a cool like block that sort of looks like a metal. You could use iron blocks, but we want like that metal that would blend in with the anvil. And that is because these are actually, we're gonna have to actually remove these. Put in our string. These are gonna be those like vent systems, you know, where all the smoke comes up and goes out the chimney or whatever. And this is just to follow up. And now you might be wondering, well, there's no smoke. So what we're gonna do is simply just put some campfires down here, and voila. The smoke looks like it comes out of these smoke areas, and the string is here so the anvils don't fall. And it looks like it's getting sucked up into the vent systems and going out of the house. So I think our cooking area is done, our kitchen. Now one thing I've realized it's pretty annoying is these are logs. What I like to do is just simply put trapdoors here and cover them up. Now you can leave them like that or have some other way of covering them up, but what I'm going to do is simply put some trapdoors down here. Okay, seems to be like we are done. Now the next bit to work on is actually the enchantment area. Anyway, this is practically our enchantment area done. Now to do the lounge. An easy, simple lounge room. And now we've practically finished the bottom area. One thing I want to add, actually a couple, is to actually bring in the lantern to fit in with the outside and just place them all around here. Okay, I've just finished placing in all of the lanterns, and we're also going to look outside just to see how it looks. And oh my, this house is coming along really nice. You can see the lanterns inside, it looks so cozy in there. And one more thing we're going to do here is put just a bit more plant life in here. So what we're going to do is just put some trapdoors everywhere, get some plants. Now you can place these anywhere. I'm actually going to have 2 here. Ooh, this is a problem. You know what? It's fine, just so you get a good idea of how this house can look like with plant life. Every time I keep on saying we've done the bottom area, I keep on forgetting scaffolding. Now scaffolding looks like shelves in a way. So we can just plonk these in areas as well. Completely up to you, but I quite like them. Just to give the whole area more details. Anyway, I think we are about done. I'm going to put one in there as well. Yeah. You know what? We have like a tiny shelf there. This is looking nice. So if you walk in, you were just greeted with so much. Now it's completely up to you of how much of this you want to use, or if you even want to use it. But anyway, we have done the bottom floor. We are going to advance up into the attic / upstairs ish. Now you might be wondering, it's kind of a little cramped up here. There's not that much room to jump around in. So one thing we can quickly kind of fix is, where is slabs? I need spruce slabs. Here we go. No, not dispensers. Anyway, with the way I made the roof and how I filled it up at the top, if you remember, we can easily just remove all of this. Also this bit out here, and just fill it up with these slabs, so we get a little bit more room to place, and it also gives out the sort of the roof a bit more. Okay, another thing I want to quickly do is, just so it looks more like an actual room instead of an attic, I'm going to place these down so it looks like there's some sort of like a wall. And this is looking nice. Look, it feels more like an actual room. It still has its sort of roof shape as well. This is looking nice. Okay, now one issue with these windows is you could just place brick like that, or you could just put spruce like that, or just completely get rid of the glass. Okay, this room is looking a lot more cozier now. It's looking pretty nice. Now, you might be wondering, there's no bedroom yet, and I have plans on how this could look. I think we should move on to the bed. So we're going to have our normal bed behind it, but we're actually going to have a fake bed, and it's going to look pretty nice. Now, I've got a couple of block pallets we can use, because this is actually going to be, it's gonna pretend like it's the blanket of some sort. So I've got a bunch of different blocks we can try out, and yeah. Okay, now this is gonna be a big bed. So, yeah, like that. It is huge. You can work on it, you can get a smaller bed, blah, blah, blah. But I am getting the king size bed because I think it's gonna be looking cool. And you also put signs around the edge so it looks like it's like the wooden framing underneath the blanket. And yeah, what we're also gonna want is some quartz slabs, wherever they are, to act like pillows. And voila, we've got this huge bed, also hiding our actual bed behind. It's kind of huge. So what I think I'm actually gonna do, it's kind of a little annoying to get back here, it's a little cramped. So I think I'm gonna remove a whole layer of the bed and do it like this. And we've got our bed. Voila, it is looking nice. Now, it is looking pretty empty, but the bed did help fill it up. So what we're going to do to wrap this up is actually just have, I don't know, a music area with a chest, you know, to hold all of the discs. Anyway, this is basically it. It's a little plain up here. That's why the bed's pretty huge. But I'll let you guys decide on what you want to do up here. It's just my little idea. We've got an enchantment table area, some shelves, a lounge, kitchen, workplace. It is nice. I think this is it. One thing I want to do before I end this episode is just to quickly have a little look around the outside. It is looking nice. Everything inside looks nice. If you look through the windows, you can see everything. It is looking so nice. I am so proud of this build. One thing I want to do before I end off this episode is to look at this at night. So I'm going to turn around and oh my god, I can't wait to see this. I just made it at night and oh my god, the lanterns and the light inside really just stand it out so much. I'm really proud of this building. This is looking so nice. Okay, now to check inside just quickly. Okay, this is cool. You just look outside. It's not okay. Well, there's not really that much to look outside because it is just a flat world. But up here, it is night. It is looking so cozy up here. I just want to go to sleep. Anyway, I think that is the end of the video. I hope you guys did enjoy this tutorial on building a brick house. Thought I'd do something a little bit different. And I really like how this house turned out. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.